What's up, everyone? Victoria here with PopCulture.com today with another episode of Pop Culture at Home. And today I'm joined by Justin Baldoni, very talented. I'm digging your outfit today. I was telling you that earlier. I'm digging the vibe.
This is me. This is me. No, there's no grooming. There's no hair and makeup. Clearly, this is I've had this for probably 7 years, and this is one of like eight. This is one of like 8 of my white t-shirts that are all identical. So
listen, not judging. I'm wearing sweatpants actually under here, and I've had these sweatpants for a really long time. I won't tell you because
that's the greatest thing about this is it's like, you can do this.
Yes.
It doesn't really match. These are mine.
Exactly. I told my boss he's going to have a hard time getting me to dress up once we're back in studio full time. I was like, I feel like I'm just going to want to dress.
Keep it here. I'm going to wear my sweats.
Yeah, that's all we need to see anyways. Cool. Well, listen, Justin, did you have a good Thanksgiving?
You know what? I did. I was really lucky that I was able to be with my family because my parents live down the street and we've all been quarantining together as part of our pod. So it was really sweet to be able to all be together and to celebrate each other. I don't really celebrate the holiday per se of what it is, because as we know, the real roots of Thanksgiving aren't exactly something to celebrate. However, the intention of being together and going through the mental checklist of things we're grateful for is something we should honestly be doing every day, but it was nice to have a holiday for it.
It's a nice little reminder, especially after this year. This year's been a tough one for so many, to try and stay positive. So I feel like it's a way for people just to kind of like, let's tone it back and remember what we need to be grateful for, right? Do you have any plans for the upcoming holidays?
Honestly, our plans right now are to pack because my family, we're moving to the countryside. We decided to leave the city, and we're going to be moving to Ojai, and
That's exciting.
Leaving the beautiful house we built for kind of a new life. And that was one of the silver linings of the pandemic for us was we kind of had a chance to take a step back and look at the way I was honestly living, the hustle mentality, the at times almost obsessive compulsive drive to create and succeed, and kind of take a step back and say well, what's the healthier version of that? And luckily I'm in a privileged position where I can do that, not from Los Angeles. And so we're going to go and let the kids get muddy and dirty and play with animals and drive around and, little tractors and, have a new life for a while.
That's amazing. Listen, I'm based in Nashville, Tennessee. I know all about country living. Okay. It's the way to go. Well, speaking of hustle bustle life, you recently partnered with Phillips Espresso on how you keep up with everything. Why was it a must partnership for you?
It was interesting. I am a coffee. I don't want to say a snob because I like so much coffee, but coffee is so important to me. It's and also the routine of coffee is so important to me, and I think we don't often give ourselves these pause moments in our life to really just take a step back and just enjoy something. Even if you think about the way Americans have started to use coffee more like a medication than a ritual. It's like a caffeine hit. It's like, go. How fast can I get my coffee? There's an app. Press the button. Pick it up. Go. We drink our coffee while we're walking, while we're driving in our cars, and everywhere around the world. I'm Italian. You stop and you create a moment. It's like a way to connect with people. It's a way to sit down, you have your coffee. Although my family in Italy drinks coffee at midnight and they drink coffee for in the morning. But it works for them. So for me, it was also just, I love this machine because I'm able to get the coffee that I couldn't get, when the pandemic hit, in my own kitchen.
I know. It's so fancy.
Right. And also and I'll be honest, being able to control, cause I like to get my coffee beans from a certain place. I'm very into the body. So my coffee is mycotoxin free, carcinogenic free, low acid, things like that. And it tastes really, really good. So I can do it. I can make it. I can just press start, and I get the foam is perfect with the Latte Go machine. It's just, everything is amazing. So it was like the perfect partnership for me, especially during the pandemic. And also, I wasn't thinking about how much coffee I consume and how much I was spending on coffee. This thing has paid for itself like in 4.5 months. Like, you go back and you look at how much coffee we drink, like just from your local Starbucks, and how often I'm refilling that $25 minimum on the app.
It adds up.
It adds up, and it pays for the machine. And so it's in many ways, and it's an investment.
Yeah. And you're saving money in the long run. I mean, if you're going to drink it anyways, you're saving money.
Yeah. It was a no-brainer for me, and I've just become a big fan.
Good. We love that. You're a busy man, and you not only act, but you direct. Do you have a favorite?
I think, look, every movie is a baby. I've been, I've only made 2 films. The second one just came out a month ago on Disney Plus, Clouds.
Yes.
That was a very special. They're both very special. 5 Feet Apart was very special because it was inspired by my friend Claire Wineland, who passed away shortly before I could show her the movie. But Clouds was different because it was a true story, and it was a true story of my friend, Zach. And I promised him that I'd continue to tell his story before he passed away. And it took 5.5 years to get the movie made. And and when the pandemic hit, I was also editing the movie. So I had the entire pandemic. I was working on finishing the film. We finished the film. We sold it to Disney. Right now, I was just getting back from Montreal, where we made the movie 1 year ago. That's how fast it was.
Wow.
So yeah, Clouds is a very, very special film to me, and I hope people watch it with the box of Kleenex.
I was gonna say, it's a very emotional. It takes you almost like on a roller coaster ride.
Oh, you saw it?
You've got the lows, yes.
Oh, thank you.
You've got the highs, you've got the lows, and I have an appreciation for anything that highlights someone battling a health issue.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that we remember that a lot of people are going through health issues. But when you're directing something like that, is there ever a point where you get is there ever a point that you got teary-eyed on set?
Every day.
And emotional?
Every day. I mean, this was my friend. I was telling his story, and getting a chance to recreate his life with actors. And again, his family, they're my family. His girlfriend and best friend, Sammy and Amy, they're like my sisters, and we text and talk all the time. And so it was a huge responsibility. And just, there were moments where, I would know exactly what had happened in that scene, and then I would see it being recreated. And of course you just break down, but it's also tears of joy, right? It's like moments of, it's like thinking about him and how proud he must be. That makes me cry the most, Yeah. Because, he was a really unique, special kid who has so much to teach all of us. And like he says in the movie, what so many of us take for granted, others are fighting for. Mm-hmm. And I think it's also important to think about that in relationship to the pandemic we're currently living through, and how it affects everybody disproportionately, and how so many of us are taking for granted what other people every day are just going through and fighting for, and just scraping to get by. And so it was, every day I was crying, let's be honest.
I mean, it takes you back just as a viewer, but to be on set and to live in that world for, the duration of filming, I just can't imagine the emotions that were surfaced. Do you go into like acting gigs now, like thinking about like the director style, Well,
I actually haven't acted since Jane the Virgin ended.
But what I'm saying is but obviously you have that creative itch to kind of
act again.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, has that ever played into like how you acted? Are you thinking kind of, I guess maybe directorially, if that's a word?
Yeah, it's interesting. So the last 2 seasons of Jane the Virgin were tricky because, I had just made 5 Feet Apart. Funny story. I had shot 5 Feet Apart, and season 5 hit, and I actually had to edit 5 Feet Apart in between acting scenes. in Jane the Virgin. And we had the edit bay and my team, the post-production team of 5 Feet Apart, down the hall from my dressing room. So I would be in the dressing room and then I would go shoot a scene as an actor. Then I would come back and edit the movie, and then I would go shoot a scene. And I did that for 4 months. So I was living at the studio. And what I found was, in many ways, it helped me as an actor. Mm-hmm. Because there were not every director is able to communicate effectively with an actor. Yeah. There's a language that we actors have, and a lot of it has to do with, what is the root emotion that I want to play, and what action will get me there. Mm-hmm. So having just gone through the experience when I made 5 Feet Apart, and then I was jumping back in, and I was like, both sides of my brain were trying to figure out, like, what am I doing? Am I acting? Am I directing? It kind of was, it helped me be freer. Mm-hmm. In some interesting ways. And conversely, acting really, really helps me as a filmmaker, because I'm able to create a safe environment for my actors to be vulnerable in a way that I would want them to, because I have the compassion and empathy for what it takes to actually act, which some filmmakers maybe don't have because they've never done it before. It's terrifying being an actor. You're living in front of a camera and you have to create these emotional, raw, vulnerable moments as if there's no camera there. And that requires an element of safety. Yeah. So I think both sides helped me, but I'm excited. I'll act again at some point one day, but I'm really enjoying being behind the scenes.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's kind of what I figured, that both roles, now seeing it from both ends, that they're really kind of helping each other.
Yeah, they work together,
Yeah.
They're instruments in a symphony.
Yeah. Well, listen, I know this is such a wild year and everything is so unpredictable. But what's next for you? What can fans expect? I mean, like you said, you've taken a break from acting. Do you anticipate on getting back into that sooner rather than later, or just kind of hold on?
Yeah. No, I mean, I've started this last year, I started a studio. So we're financing movies now. We're making movies. We're helping other filmmakers, create their dreams, and not just making my movies, but others. And I'm going to act. There's a few movies and shows that we're developing that I'm going to, at some point act in. But right now I'm really enjoying creating opportunities for other filmmakers, for marginalized voices and for, for voices maybe and stories that maybe haven't become mainstream yet. But the big thing for me for 2021 is actually last night at 2 a.m, I finished my book, my manuscript. I sent it to the publisher. HarperCollins is releasing my first book. It's called Man Enough: Undefining My Masculinity. And so I'm super, like, it's been intense because I was finishing Clouds, the movie, and I was finishing my book all through the pandemic. So thank God for caffeine and my espresso machine from Phillips. Yeah. But so last night I sent it, and I feel like a weight was just like taken off my shoulders to a certain extent, but I'm also really nervous because it's a very vulnerable exploration of what it means to be a man, told from stories in my life and from my perspective, and in hopes that, the loneliness and isolation that can come with masculinity and from being a man can in some way be relieved from seeing another man share his personal vulnerable experiences. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited. I'm grateful. I'm nervous. April, the book's released, and that's a big thing for me in 2021.
I'm going to go pick that up. I'm going to pick that one up. Justin, you're amazing. I am so happy, so excited for you. Thank you so much just for your time today. It's been an amazing chat.
I so appreciate it. It's been nice having coffee with you.
Absolutely. Everyone, for more on Justin Baldoni, make sure you keep it right here at PopCulture.com.